This news program is proudly brought to you by
Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits
and Now Biscuits.
Special Economic Zone Authority Board visit Rigo District. Police officers called to get back to the basics. And destroyed monitors replaced for Port Moresby Hospital Emergency Department. A very good evening. You're watching National EMTV News. I'm Godwin Eki. Thank you for joining us. 3 new vital monitors has been donated to the Port Moresby General Hospital Emergency Department to replace a monitor that was destroyed late last year. Sir Brian Bell Foundation donated 2 monitors, while Wandi Lawyers donated 1 monitor.
Foundation and Wang D. Lawyers will ease the burden from the health workers at the emergency department. The monitors will be used to monitor blood pressure and heart rates for patients. Director for Medical Services, Dr. Connie Sobi, was grateful for the donations, stating that citizens must take care of hospital properties.
The important point is for everyone, including the staff and for our clients, patients, to respect property. This is all in turn will help to care for our healthcare needs. So that's the main point that I'd like to stress here, is for every one of us to show diligence and care for this equipment. Public property in the hospital is everyone's business to protect.
Around December last year, a vitals monitor was damaged by a member of the PNG Defence Force who was admitted in the Accident and Emergency Department in Port Moresby General Hospital. According to a report from PNGDF released last week, the vital monitor was unintentionally damaged as the PNGDF patient was not in his right state of mind when this happened due to acute post-head injury. Currently, the member involved is on house arrest in the Army barracks. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
World Neglected Tropical Diseases Day was observed today at the National Department of Health. The Executive Manager for Public Health, Dr. Sibauk V. Bayeb, said in spite of the government's effort to eliminate neglected tropical diseases, there is still much more to be done. Neglected tropical diseases, or NTD, continue to be given low priority in funding allocations and political support. Dr. Bayeb has called for more collaboration and support to achieve the target of eliminating of NTD by 2030, as stated in the Sustainable Development Goals targets and the National Health Plan 2020 to 2030.
On the 31st of May 2021, the World Health Assembly recognized the 30th of January as World Neglected Tropical Disease Day through Decision World Health Assembly 74. This decision formalized the 30th of January as a day to create better awareness on negotiating impacts of neglected tropical diseases. The day is also an opportunity to call on everyone to support the growing momentum for the controlled elimination of these neglected tropical diseases. The Executive Manager Public Health, Dr. Sibauk Bayeb, said, with this year's theme Act Now, Act Together, Invest in Neglected Tropical Diseases, aims to call on the government, leaders of the society and the concerned stakeholders in positions of the authority with intention to act now, work together collaboratively, and invest in neglected tropical diseases. He acknowledges the contribution of key program and development partners in the delivery of health services in the country, including neglected tropical diseases.
Your contributions are highly noted and valued. However, there is a lot more that needs to be done in this area if we are to fully achieve the eradication of neglected tropical diseases.
Dr. Bayeb said the National Department of Health has identified the need to develop an integrated NTD strategy going forward. He strongly recommends that everyone has a key role to play to address these neglected tropical diseases in the country.
Neglected tropical diseases in PNG are lymphatic filariasis, yaws, scabies, soil-transmitted helminths, brucellosa, leprosy, dengue hemorrhagic fever, and leprosy. These diseases are neglected because they are almost absent from the global health agenda. Little funding is provided for addressing these neglected tropical diseases, and there is stigma and social exclusion for people living with neglected tropical diseases.
Over the past week, the media has been assisting WHO, bringing attention to NTD. In PNG, there are 8 NTDs currently in the country which can be eradicated through education and awareness. Some of these NTDs causes stigma and affects the emotional being of a person, thus the need for more awareness on this issue. Estagane, National EMTV News.
A rice nucleus estate model farm is underway at Gabadi in the Kariku district, following a recent visit made by the Minister for International Trade and Investment and the rice farmers.
With the recent visit of the top Filipino rice farmer Danilo Bolos and other Philippines delegation last week to Gabadi in the Central Province, they believe that it is an ideal location for large-scale rice investment in Papua New Guinea under the nucleus estate concept. The Filipinos investors' plan is to set up rice demonstration blocks, a rice processing plant, and farmer training facilities for outgrowers. A mapping concept on establishing an 800-hectare estate rice model farm is underway. This concept will include training and support to village outgrower farmers under family-owned or rice cooperative farmers from Brown River to Vanapa, Gabadi and all the way to Berena LLGs in the district. Minister for International Trade and Investment, Richard Maru, further elaborated on their plans that will benefit the people of Kariku district by providing them employment opportunities.
Here with the scientists, they will get the soil samples, they'll tell you whether the soil is right or not, they will tell you right away. So far they're very impressed with the land we have. They will run a model farm and then train all our young people and then come and support you in your villages to plant up your own village customary land and plant rice and come and sell it to the mill.
Maru further mentioned that land belonging to the state will be fully utilized to develop rice farming.
They will not put their money, their time and effort in any land whereby you got dispute. That's why the model farm must be on state land, not customary land. But you can plant up your own after you get the training and the support from the main model farm.
Minister Maru having said that this rice-scale project underway will now replace PNG's rice imports worth 800 million kina and will make PNG the biggest rice exporter to the world. Grace Papiali, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, the Philippines delegation and Ministry of International Trade, the Special Economic Zone Authority Board had visited Rigao District in the Central Province following their initial visit in Kariku District. The visit was purposely to see if their rice program is confirmed to be a possibility of rice manufacturing in the Central Province.
The visit to Rigao last week saw a motivated delegation heading there with their plans and visions of developing sustainable rice programs in the Central Province. This was their second visit after their trip to Vanapa and Brown River in Kariku District. With the government's aim to encourage locals into downstream processing, this new project will now see the fulfillment of the vision and plans of the government. The chairman of the Special Economic Zone Authority Board, Varigini Badira, emphasized further.
Both foreign investors and our local investors tap into the international market and really support their downstream processing activities in terms of importing the required materials, required ingredients they need to have their industries grow, or the manufacturing industries grow.
Danilo Bolos, after the sampling of the rice grain, said that rice program is confirmed to start.
What we see here in Rigo, Central Province, is very encouraging. Once again, it has been validated. Rice can be grown in Papua New Guinea.
Grace Papiali, National EMTV News.
Trukai True Adventure Promotion in the New Guinea Islands region has reminded its contestants in the region about the tagline when answering their phones tomorrow. This announcement was made today by Trukai's regional brand executive Kesi Maninaka.
Tomorrow, the 31st of January 2023, Trukai Industries will be drawing its lucky winner from the New Guinea Islands region in the Trukai True Adventure promo. Today, Trukai did a motorcade in Kokopo town to remind contestants in the region.
We are here now in Kokopo for the NJ region draw tomorrow, 31st of January. Next week,
the winner will walk away with a brand new Toyota Adventure Hilux. The first of the 4 True Adventure draw for the region will happen at the Eco Trading in Kokopo at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Grace Papiali, National EMTV News.
All police officers from all rank and file within the NCD Central Command were called to go back to the basics and be accountable and reliable in their jobs. This call was made by the Assistant Commissioner of Police for NCD and Central Command, Anthony Wagambi Jr.
Policemen and women serving in the NCD Central Command have been told to go back to basics. ACP Wagambi Jr. told policemen during the parade last week that the first quarter of this year will be aimed at getting the basics right. This means every police station commander and officer in charge will be held responsible for what goes wrong under their watch.
This year for the division is the year for discipline and attendance. For the first 3 months, we are going to monitor this.
ACP Wagambi Jr. says attendance and commitment to duties is important.
Those of you who have been committing yourself to work, to your duties, for your sworn duties, we blow much. There are some of us around here, namely the staff of command, but we are not turning up for work. Getting back to the basics, discipline and accountability.
ACP Wagambi Jr. further said NCD Metsup and PPC Central have been tasked to look out for unruly behavior amongst their men. The divisional commander for NCD and Central said he has shifted the management style of operations to place more authority on zone commanders. This has resulted in effective policing work in responding to crime such as car theft, which has been quite common recently. In concluding, ACP Wagambi Jr. thanked all his men and added that regular police parades will be conducted this year. The divisional commander for NCD and Central said he has shifted the management style of operations to give more authority to zone commanders. This has resulted in effective policing work in responding to crime such as car theft, which has been quite common recently. In concluding, ACP Wagambi thanked all his men and women and said regular parades will be conducted this year. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. The Kerema District Administration was the proud recipients of 2 Toyota Land Cruisers today, which were delivered by the Kerema Open member Thomas Opa. On hand to receive the vehicles was the Kerema District Administrator Elape Lovate.
Following 2 decades of having to hire vehicles to run the operations of the Kerema District Administration, today marked a significant shift when 2 brand new Land Cruisers were delivered to the District Administrator at the House of the People at Waigani.
We are so pleased to make the presentation of these two vehicles, Land Cruiser. One will be used by our district administration staff, and the other will be used by our district finance administration staff. This will help us cut the bills on higher car bills. These two vehicles will save us about 720,000 per annum on higher car bills alone.
Due to other pressing issues, the member could not travel to the Kerama district to present the vehicles. Instead, Mr. Opper selected Parliament House to hand over the keys. The two new vehicles adds to the other fixed assets that the member has already purchased since taking up office.
Thank you. Now means that we can be able to divert this money into vital services and development projects such as building classrooms, building health centers, fixing the roads, creating opportunities for our people. And today I am so honored and privileged to make the presentation of these two vehicles to my district administration staff. I am pretty sure they will look after the vehicle and make sure they carry out their work back in the district.
The Kerama District Administration has paid exorbitant amounts in higher car payments in the past, and the two new vehicles are a welcome relief for the District Administration staff. In thanking the local member, Kerama District Administrator Elape Lovate assured the local member that the vehicles will be put to good use in driving the district and government agendas.
Thank you for these assets that you are providing to us. You know, in any organization, we need a skilled, motivated staff with adequate resources and logistic support in order to effectively implement government policies and decisions of the DDA as well as policies of the government. Without these logistics and a good line of communication structure, things will not flow properly. So with this, it will boost our morale, it will motivate us with these logistics.
According to the Kerama Open MP, this is the first time the Kerama district has some sort of assets. Mr. Opper also revealed that a police vehicle and an ambulance is earmarked to be presented soon to carry out the work of law and order and health in the Kerama Open district. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
The Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture and Samarai Murua MP EC Henry Leonard is calling for a more active involvement for Kumul Mineral Holdings Limited in the Woodluck gold mine. The local member wants smaller mines like Woodluck and Misima to be acquired by Kumul Mineral Holdings Limited to manage the interests of the government.
The Woodluck Gold Project, located in the Samarai Murua district, is shovel-ready with all statutory requirements in order. According to the local member EC Henry Leonard, more involvement from the district level in restructuring the Woodluck Gold Mine project to contribute to nation building is paramount, and one such way is ensuring Kumul Mineral Holdings Limited participates in the development of the key projects with the aim of promoting local and national participation.
A couple of times as my business to mention to the Prime Minister that small size mines, we must allow for the state-owned company, Kumul Mineral Holdings Limited, to step in, to come in and acquire the national government's interest, provincial government's interest, the landowner's interest, the geologist's interest, and even the district's interest.
The MP made this call for Kumul Mineral Holdings.
Let Kumul Mineral Holdings Limited to acquire our interest and to run it for us. And we nationalize the mine. And based on an experience, we can now scale the bigger mines. Wafi, or even, what's the other mines coming on? Frida. Use that to scale our net gain in those bigger mines.
The local member is thankful for the work of the Mineral Resource Authority in the current relocation exercise that is taking place.
True that MRA continue to visit and to see exactly what is happening on the ground. And I also thank the company for attending to what I raised. But they need to step up and complete the relocation exercise immediately before we go to the mining operation. But for time being, we've actually deferred the signing until all these issues are addressed by the company as well as the government through MRA
and also the land.
Mr. Leonard has stated that before any development takes place on Woodlark Gold Project, relocation must be 100% complete with proper planning. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
Pulmonary tuberculosis is on the rise in Bulolo's Buang LLG in Morobe. The Buang people are being urged to visit the Buang Sub-Health Centre for medical checkup if coughing persists for more than 3 weeks. Buang Sub-Health Centre officer in charge, Tai Awateng, during a regular clinical patrol in Moniao village, says the number of suspected TB cases is rising.
The community health worker says that is why his team have organized to carry out awareness in Buang village communities on the signs, symptoms and treatment methods that are available. The health officer says tuberculosis is curable, but he says when people are aware of the signs, symptoms and how to avoid it, then they can contain its spread. Buang Sub-Health Center officer in charge, Taye Awateng, says at the moment many people are refusing to complete treatment or go for medical checkups. He says as a result, many people are dying from TB. Meanwhile, health officers in Buang have also confirmed that TB glands are also becoming common in the Upper Buang communities. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
Pregnant mothers in Bulolo's Buang LLG have been urged to regularly visit the Buang Sub-Health Centre to ensure their pregnancy is safe. This was the call by Buang Sub-Health Centre officer in charge, Tai Awateng, during a clinical patrol in Buang's Ward 4.
Pregnant mothers in Bulolo district have been urged to visit health centers. Buang Sub-Health Center officer in charge, Taye Awateng, says despite numerous appeals for pregnant mothers to make regular checkups during their pregnancy, many mothers are reluctant. Mr. Awateng says through regular antenatal checks, the health of the mother and the baby can be monitored. He says many mothers in Buang die during or after childbirth because they develop complications. He says when mothers undergo pregnancy without watching their health, they might overwork themselves, which usually leads to either missing of their menstrual periods or even miscarriage. Mr. Awateng says during antenatal checks, mothers are given vitamins, supplements as well as mosquito nets. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
And now taking a look at the Nest Fund market report, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.2840 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.2765 US, $0.3857 Australian dollars, $0.2469 euro, 35.42 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York closed, gold is trading higher, coffee closed higher, cocoa closed lower, copra closed higher, palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading higher, copper closed lower. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading lower, the All Ordinaries is trading lower. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. Police will do its job without fear or favour in relation to the traffic accident involving Secretary for Justice and Attorney General Dr. Eric Kwar. This was alluded to by Police Commissioner David Manning. Commissioner Manning said police will not deviate from this investigation, however, will ensure that the law of the land is applied and justice prevails.
The traffic accident involving Dr. Eric Kwar, the Secretary for Justice and Attorney General last year, which ultimately led to the death of a staff member, has come under much speculation regarding police investigations. In a media statement released yesterday, Police Commissioner David Manning said police have reviewed the evidence with the investigators of the case and are satisfied with the weight of evidence to support the charges of dangerous driving causing death. It is understood Commissioner Manning met with Dr. Kwa on Friday, January 27th. According to the statement released, senior experienced traffic investigators will pursue the file to ensure police have satisfied the essential elements of the alleged offense and ensure all other circumstances leading up to, during, and after the incident have been thoroughly investigated. In a message to MTV Newsroom this afternoon, Deputy Commissioner Donald Yamasombi, who has been tasked to carry on the investigation, said he has met with traffic investigators to be confident on the substance on hand before the record of interview can commence. We will keep you updated on this story. Lindy Suharupa, National MTV News.
And moving to overseas now, 4 people have died in New Zealand's northern region due to flooding.
The rain has been continuous since Friday night, where within a few hours Auckland received a whole month's worth of rain in just a few days. Auckland is now in recovery mode, but since it's still wet, it's hindering those recovery efforts. We've got evacuation centres set up across Auckland City, as well as in the Waitomo district, which is also in a state of emergency. The scenes across Friday and Saturday were completely apocalyptic. We had cars floating down the streets, land falling onto houses. 4 people actually passed away throughout the floods, and I think here in New Zealand we thought that that would be the most intense part of it. Unfortunately, we had another deluge of rain overnight. It wasn't quite as intense as last night, but it caused 4 slips still over in Titirangi, a suburb in West Auckland, where at least 5 people had to be evacuated. Now, unfortunately, again, we've got more severe weather warnings underway. Right now, Auckland is in a state of emergency for another 7 days, but that may increase. We're under a heavy rain watch and a severe thunderstorm watch until this afternoon. It might clear up for a little bit there, and then from Tuesday onwards, we have another severe and heavy rain warning.
There have been protests in the city of Memphis following the death of an African American who was beaten to death by policemen.
A number of changes have already been made here in Memphis in response to Tyree Nichols' death. 5 former police officers who were identified in that video released by the Memphis Police Department a couple of days ago have been fired and are now facing second-degree murder charges. We've also heard that the Special Street Crimes Unit that they belonged to, a unit known as Scorpion, is being disbanded. But Mr Nichols' death has raised broader concerns, broader questions about police brutality across the United States, and many are now calling for further change. One of them is Benjamin Crump. He's the lawyer for Mr Nichols' family. He is arguing that while a number of states and cities introduced new policies and new legislation in the wake of George Floyd's death in Minneapolis a few years ago, that a package of federal legislation has stalled in Congress. He wants to see that issue revisited.
But as his mother says so passionately, she believes Tyree was sent on an assignment from God, and that's what she has to believe to try to cope with this tragedy. And shame on us if we don't use his tragic death to finally get the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act passed. We told President Biden that when he talked to us because, he should marshal the United States Senate with Senator Booker, Senator Schumer, and they should try to get the House to re-engage.
National MTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Hohola Suburban League, the competition completed its 12 weeks of regular rounds over the weekend. The tournament is expected to enter its finals playoff in the coming weekend.
The competition witnessed its last round competed yesterday at the Hohola EP Park. Tournament president Kambi Ingiman highlighted that the competition will devise the top 8 finals tier for its women's division, while the men's division will compete in the top 16 final structure.
Last week, go around next weekend, I'm going to final play me. Almerian last two round of play. After 2 round of play now, I'm top 12 now. 4 by 8 tumbler play go. Winner blow tumbler 4 go play under 4 final. One time of some man pinto.
President Ingeman is hoping that with the successful completion of the 12 regular rounds, he expects to see the same as they head into their finals playoff come Friday, the 3rd of February 2023, here at the Hohola EP Park. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
The Northern Suburban League saw its washout matches completed under all its divisions today at Bomana.
I'm here this afternoon at the Northern Suburban League rugby field. Joining me this afternoon is Felix Atusa, who is the competition manager. Felix, what can you say about the tournament? Could you please give us an update?
We are running the washout games for Sunday because of rain. We postponed the game today, Monday. We are playing the top 8. We have 4 pools: Pool A, Pool B, Pool C, and Pool D. So we are playing top 8 in each pool. So that first, second, third, fourth have the chance, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 they are playing do or die. So we have started the game on Saturday and Sunday, but due to our weather, we've postponed some games today, and they are currently playing. So by after 2 weeks, we'll hopefully have the final.
So there you have it. The competition should expect its finals after 2 weeks' time. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. Moving to overseas sports now, and in tennis, Novak Djokovic has won his 10th title at the Australian Open.
Australian Open title and his 22nd major overall. The win has also meant he's regained the world #1 spot. The emotions poured out post-match, with Djokovic sobbing as he greeted his family and supporters. It's just over a year since the Serbian player was kicked out of Australia, and controversy has dogged this year's Open campaign after video emerged of his father with Russian supporters.
You know, we are relatively 2 small countries that don't really have tennis tradition. You know, we didn't have too many players to look up to, players that have reached these heights in a professional tennis. So I think that the message really for any young tennis player around the world who is watching this now and dreaming to be here where Stefanos and I am, dream big, dare to dream, because everything is possible. Don't let anybody take away the dream. Don't really let anybody take away that dream from you. Nurture it, water it like you water the flowers. Even if you find only one person in this world that will accept, embrace, and support your dreams, find that person and dream big, because you can make it.
In NBL, the Sydney Kings are close to the NBL Championships after beating Melbourne.
A triple-double from Xavier Cooks did have the Kings in control, but when he found out with 3 minutes left to play, the Phoenix were able to make a charge and actually hit the lead with just over a minute left. However, the Kings scored the game's last 6 points to win by 5 and improve to 19 wins and 7 losses to be guaranteed of finishing top 2. Earlier, the Tassie Jack Jumpers defeated the Perth Wildcats 102-94.
The Adelaide United drew the Melbourne City with 3-3 in last night's A-League match.
Not showing the pictures because of just how gruesome they were, but 36-year-old Adelaide veteran Juan de Padros Lopez had come off the bench in the second half for a handful of minutes against Melbourne City before the horror injury. Coming into question, though, was the lack of a static ambulance service at the ground. Instead, emergency physicians had been installed at the stadium. It took around 13 minutes for the ambulance to arrive at the ground to take Juande to the hospital. So I'm sure that, that decision to not have the static ambulances at the live sporting events in the A-League men's and women's will definitely be reviewed.
That ends True Kai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
Weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region, Port Moresby, cloudy periods with patchy rain and possible thunderstorm. Daru and Kerema, few showers with possible thunderstorm. Alatau, cloudy periods with few showers. Popondetta, cloudy with some rain showers and thunderstorm. In the Momase region, Ley and Madang, few showers easing, then partly cloudy. Wewak and Banimo, partly cloudy with brief showers possible. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau mostly cloudy with few showers, Kavieng partly cloudy with brief showers, Kokopo, Rabau, Kimbe and Buka cloudy with some showers and thunderstorm. In the Highlands region, all centres cloudy with some rain showers and thunderstorm, then morning fog. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait to Daru to Kerema to Yule Island to Hood Point, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters of Hood Point to Samurai Islands to Cape Vogel and eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters north of Cape Vogel to Ewan Gulf to Finschhafen, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters of Finschhafen through Vitis Dampier Straits to CRC and Long Islands, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Long Island to Madang to Wewak to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border, seas 0.5 to 1 meter. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas 0.5 to 1 meter. Waters of New Ireland to New Britain and Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Ocean forecast, Coral Sea, seas slight east to southeast winds of 10 to 15 knots. Solomon Sea, seas slight northwest winds of 10 to 15 knots. Bismarck Sea, seas slight northeast to northwest winds of 10 to 15 knots. And Pacific Ocean, seas slight to moderate northeast winds of 10 to 20 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Monday, the 30th of January 2023. From the entire news team, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.